Today's video is all about swimming, and in particular how I train for swimming as a blind man getting ready for my next paratriathlon race in June. So swimming is the first discipline, and it's quite an important part of a triathlon because if you get a good swim under your belt, then the race is obviously off to a very, very good start. So swimming is a big part of triathlon, and obviously if I was going to take on the sport of triathlon, I needed to get back in the pool and get swimming. The difference this time is that as an adult, my eyesight had got an awful lot worse. So I found training in the pool was really difficult. It was harder to see, the lighting isn't very good, so swimming in a straight line was quite difficult. Being able to see at the bottom of the pool, it was hard. I found it tough. I'd be swimming into lane ropes, I'd be swimming into people. It just was a bit of a stressful sport for me to take on. I tried joining clubs to see if I could get quiet lanes and stuff, but it's very difficult. It's really, really tricky. Getting into swimming pools, being around the edge of the pools, they're not all as accessible as they are now. So it was quite tough. So as much as I needed to do it for training, I started to either think that swimming wasn't really the sport for me, or I needed to find a different way to train for my triathlons. So with my first triathlon coming up in London, I thought it might be a good idea to go and swim in the Thames for my first open water swim. There was an event, the Great Swim, and there was the London one, and it swam in Victoria Docks. And I thought, well, I'll sign up for that. What's the worst that could happen? Turns out it's horrible. Your first open water swim is horrific. So it came time to get in the wetsuits, get the hats on, get down to the start. Everyone's excited and whatever. And you sort of walk into the water like a group of lemmings basically. You're walking off this slope into the water. And I'm a really confident swimmer. I'm not scared of the water, I'm not scared of what goes on underneath it, but I remember swimming a bit of breaststroke to try and get a bit of clear space, and there was a lot of people around me, there's quite a lot of splash, and I thought, right, I need to swim some front crawl. So I put my head down, head came straight back out. I was thinking, I can't see the bottom, I literally can't see it, it's just black, like black. It was horrible. So after I sort of calmed my chest down, obviously it's cold, it's freezing cold, it's not nice. So I'm like, right, I need to get this done because I'm trying to swim for a mile and this is ridiculous. So head goes back in, nah, couldn't do it. And I was thinking, I might have to turn back and get out of the water here, like this is maybe not the thing for me at all. And I swam a little bit longer breaststroke, and I thought, just calm down, you can do this, you're confident, you know how to swim, just swim four pools. So that's what I did. I put my head down, went for 4, did that, wasn't too bad. Next one 6, next one 8, and before, maybe 3 or 4 minutes later, I'd calmed myself down and got into my rhythm, and it was good. There was enough people in the water that I could follow people, so I couldn't necessarily see where I was going, but I could see there was a lot of splash and a lot of bright coloured hats in front, so I just followed them and hoped they knew where they were going. You pretty much swam in a straight line and then across the Thames and back a little bit, so it was a really easy route. I just had to swim in a straight line, which, as anyone again that's been open water will know, swimming in a straight line with tides and currents and other swimmers is not easy. But we made it. I didn't die, didn't drown, so I took that as a big success. So the Great London Swim had given me a lot of confidence, which was fantastic until I got in the water for the triathlon. The course was different, we were going a different way around. There's more people, and it turns out that a friendly swim event versus a triathlon is a completely different ball game. So the swim in London Triathlon didn't go quite as well. The course was tricky to navigate. You know, it was different, but I didn't have a period where I didn't think I couldn't do it. Got straight into my rhythm and, you know, got on with the swim, and that was good. And from doing London Triathlon, I realised that I really enjoyed the sport, and I ended up joining Epsom Tri Club. And I just wanted to do more and more open water swimming, but I knew that I would have to practice in the open water to really master it and bring my triathlon through. Now, one of the best parts about being a triathlete in Surrey is there's a huge amount of open water swimming opportunities. When I moved to Norwich in 2016, there was 2 lakes that you could get to. And one, you had to be a member of a different triathlon club, so that wasn't really an option. And the other one was great, but they've now turned it into a private members, you know, place. So because me and Lauren can't afford to have a nice holiday home at this place, we were kind of stuck swimming at Cotswold Mill, which is great, but you kind of get the feeling that it's a place where kids go to hang out on a Friday and Saturday night, and they might throw traffic cones and trolleys and all kinds of stuff into this place. So it doesn't always feel the safest. So when Fairhaven Gardens on the like in South Walsham, it's on the Norfolk Broads. It's a really beautiful part of where we live, and they opened up their lake for swimming. So they've got their own private access into the Broads, and you turn up and you go and swim there. And yeah, we've been there the last 3 years now. So the reason that I love Fairhaven Gardens swimming and just open water swimming in general is that it's very free. It's, you know, really open, you're at one with nature. Yeah, it's cold and it can be a bit smelly sometimes, but on the whole, it's a real nice experience. It's great getting into a wetsuit and having a bit of extra buoyancy and, you know, feeling like a superhero. That is quite cool. And also there's less people, so it feels less pressured, and it's great to just get out there in the open water and get ready for the races to come. So the reason that I love open water swimming, and in particular Fairhaven Gardens, is that it's very friendly, it's very inclusive, and it's just a really nice experience. You know, you get to be out in nature. Yes, the water's cold and sometimes a little bit choppy, but on the whole, you normally find that the whole experience is just a little bit nicer than being in a chlorinated pool. So the only triathlons that I tend to do are open water swimming triathlons. I do the occasional pool swim triathlon, but I have to make sure that, you know, I've got a lane pretty much to myself and I'm not going to be causing any problems for anyone else that I'm racing against. So the open water triathlon season in the UK tends to go from about May time all the way through to September, sometimes October. So it doesn't tend to be too cold for us, luckily. But yeah, the training for triathlon and open water for me is interesting in that I can swim open water by myself because I'm a very strong swimmer and confident, but I need to be able to see, you know, out on deck side. I need to be able to understand how I'm going to navigate it. So luckily at Fairhaven, it's just a 2-point swim back to base. so that's okay. I prefer to have a swimmer with me, and obviously when I'm swimming in races, I'm tethered to Andy. But Andy can't always swim on a Wednesday, so I bring the wife, or rather she brings me, and we swim together. Sometimes I swim by myself, like I say, and obviously when I'm racing with Andy, we've got one elastic lace which ties us around the thigh, and we just swim together with that. So at the moment I am training once a week open water. I would like to get open water more. Sometimes we do a Saturday and a midweek swim, so sometimes it's twice a week. And what I am waiting for this season is I've bought myself an indoor swim trainer, which is basically attaching cables to a door, laying on your front on the box and doing kinds of swimming drills. So there will be no doubt some video footage of me using that. But for the moment, I just try and open water swim as much as I can, which is normally once or twice a week. The distances for my races this year are quite short. So my swim in June is 400 meters. My swim in July is 750. So it's more about speed for me in the water than being able to swim for a long time. So I'm just getting used to, shorter efforts, building speed, building strength. So lots of work in the gym and a good amount of intensity in the water. So if you are like me and you're severely sight impaired, you are a blind athlete or someone that's thinking about swimming as a blind person, then I would encourage you to speak to your local lake or open water facility. Speak to other people that also go to that place, and don't be afraid to get stuck in. It can be a bit of an experience as a blind person, but what I found is a bit of an equalizer in the water is that I can't really see what is underneath me anyway. And it's just nice to be in an environment where nobody can actually see anything in the water, unless you're swimming in, Hawaii or somewhere where you can see, the Maldives or Mauritius or wherever. But yeah, you swim in UK open water, you can't really see anything anyway. So yeah, it's quite cool. So please don't be put off by not being able to see. Hearing, physical disabilities, it's really inclusive. So get in touch with your local facility and get involved. So I hope you've enjoyed a little look at swimming and swimming for triathlon in particular. This is part one of a 3-part series. So we've got bike and run to come in the future. So if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to Blind Focus with me, Rob Sears, and hit that notification bell, the little icon, press that. It will let you know when the next 2 parts are put on the channel.